or heavy music to horror movies.
So, our next act is John Carpenter suggests a Dead Space movie is in production. And honestly, this really gets me going because Dead Space is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And John Carpenter is amazing. And this is the perfect fit for anyone to do a movie. I love Dead Space. Dead Space's remake of the game is coming out at the end of this month. And I'm going to be all over it. I actually didn't get the what is it called? The something protocol? The Callisto Protocol.
You were hyped on that, too.
I was hyped on it, but now that I'm poor and I have not had enough time.
Even though I Venmo'd you that $1, bro, you're still poor?
Good callback.
But yeah, I haven't had any time to play video games. God of War is still just setting in the PlayStation 5. I promise that I'm going to get to it, but I was also thinking maybe when we move into the new house, I'll stream stuff like that. But now that we've gotten so close
That's
to
right, you're getting a new studio, son. You're getting
Yeah,
a whole new setup, son.
Coming soon.
But yeah, we're gonna be moving into a new house. We're gonna have a new setup. We're not gonna have blue walls, and we can set.
Whoa. When I signed my contract, I was very clear that the walls had to be blue.
I thought you said you wanted me to blue you.
There was a blue balls joke there that I feel like you missed.
I did miss. I'm
You
sorry.
did. It's all right.
But yeah, I was thinking maybe I'll start streaming some video game stuff. But yeah, I wanted to play the Callisto Protocol. I've heard mixed reviews. Some people say it's pretty bad, and some people say it's really good. But now that we've gotten so close to Dead Space Remake, I'm probably just going to have to play that instead because, yeah.
I think this is a good sign of things because video games have been telling great stories for many years. I haven't played Dead Space myself. I know y'all are about to shit on me.
You suck.
I run a retro video game podcast. I play like 40 retro games a year, so
Right.
I don't have time for new games. A lot.
You should stop living in the past, Toby.
So, Toby, what happens when you've played all the retro video
There
games?
is thousands. Shut up.
You still have thousands to go through?
Yes.
How many have you played?
160 so far.
What's the
Shut up.
cutoff for retro? Like, what makes it retro? 1990 and below?
My personal opinion, anything that's retro is a dead console that is no longer being produced for.
So you're just having more and more.
Yeah, bro.
retro.
Xbox. So Xbox One's a dead console? Like the
No,
first.
Xbox One isn't technically.
No.
but
I mean,
Xbox
like the first.
360 does.
I mean, the first Xbox.
Yeah, Xbox. Original
So, like, you
Xbox.
could play Halo and that be a retro game?
I think so. Now, I think the community.
You're
Halo
just
retro,
making
bro.
work for
Halo,
yourself.
I know.
The community, the retro community, I think, is like a 10, 15, 20-year gap is what they suggest. I think if it's dead and they're no longer, it's retro, like, depending, I think a lot of people, when they think retro, they also think 8-bit, 16-bit. They don't
64 even.
They don't think that, like, look.
I thought you were going to say N64 is your cutoff, and I was like, that's decent. That's a decent time
No.
frame.
Think about it. Think of how many people are like, oh, yeah, back in 2009. And then you're like, oh, shit, that was like...
The first Borderlands came out in
like
2009.
that was like 15 years ago.
Yeah, it was.
So like when you start thinking of it like...
Damn, we're old. Bro.
See, exactly. See,
So
that's
old.
why.
Yeah.
Holy
That's why
shit.
2009 retro. It's retro. But my point that I was gonna make, I think this is a good sign for retro. I think this is a good sign for gaming in general because they've been telling these big stories for many, many years. The God of Wars, all these great stories, and now we're getting them on big screens, or we're getting The Last of Us.
Yeah,
we're getting some good stories for the people that don't play the video games, and maybe they can understand why we like these stories so much.
Well, and I think too, with The Last of Us being so faithful to the game and it being sick as fuck, we're gonna see a new standard for video game remakes into movies or TV. You know what I mean? Because there hasn't been a good track record on
especially after the
adaptations.
Witcher shit. Like The Witcher and The Last of Us are polar opposites. The Witcher didn't follow anything about the game,
Well,
and The Last
that's
of
why
Us
Henry
is like
Cavill
scene
quit.
by scene.
Yeah.
Well, right, yeah.
Yeah.
But you seem to have that contention when it comes to making a video game adaptation of a movie. It's either really close to the original adaptation in the video game, or they steer off and kind of make it their own thing. And a lot of people think that that's just like a slap in the face to the purist or the fundamental of or the foundation of the actual origin story. And like, I mean, in some cases it works, in some cases it doesn't, right? I don't see anybody really saying that the Doom video game was, or the Doom movie was the best, or Assassin's Creed. They're not.
It was terrible.
Yeah, like there's probably more bad examples, honestly,
There
than good
is
examples.
So many bad examples.
Yeah.
I would say the only one I can think of that I thought was awesome was Silent Hill, the first one.
Yeah, that's a great one.
I thought that was sick.
Yeah.
Because it kept the creepiness, it kept the like weird, like religious vibe, like, and for a while you're just like lost in the fucking creepiness.
More
you know?
horror than
Yeah.
yeah. And that's how the game was. The game was more like where I mean, the first Resident Evil was really good too. The first movie was good.
The first
and that
Resident
didn't
Evil,
follow.
The
That-
first Resident Evil was like good-ish
Because
they
it was
set
a good
themselves
movie.
they set themselves up.
There was no Jill Sandwich quote.
There was well, I mean, that was my kind of point. Like it didn't really follow the video game.
Right.
It was loosely related to the
But-
video game, but it was still a really
Yeah,
good movie.
They set themselves up for success, and then they followed
And Mila
suit
Jovovich
with
is
a
just-
shit ton of bad movies.
That's
Like-
true. But that's I think a franchise
see,
thing.
look-
When you let anybody get name rights, like that's
Yeah.
bad.
We
That's
got the new Resident Evil movie, which was closer to a video game style, and everyone was like, I don't like it.
I thought it was okay. It's just kind of heartless. You know what I mean?
I loved it.
Really?
Me and the kid loved it.
Really?
We watched it. It was great. I had fun with it. I want to see more. In fact, when they came out with that Netflix series, I was like, oh, this
my
is going to
God.
continue that story. And
Then that one was
That
bad.
was bad.
that was
Yeah.
bad. It was bad again.
Yeah.
Here's what I was gonna say. You know, we've been seeing this with comics for the last 20 years of them making adaptations of comic book series of stories like the movie History of Violence. Did you ever watch that movie? That was a comic book. That was a graphic
Yeah.
novel. And like it seems like people are like seeing, oh, I mean, we've been making movies from books and stuff for so long. It feels like, oh, in the last 10, 15 years, they're like, oh, this comic book thing, we can actually make movies off that. And it just feels like this is the next step of like, well, we can make stuff off of the video games, and they can be good. So, I don't know, maybe we'll get more stuff that we've enjoyed over the years and see it on a big screen of some sort.
Well, it's like who wouldn't adapt that shit in a certain way? Like it's like they're wasting all of their time and effort making these fucking terrible fucking
Well, not just that, but the format too. Like I think of another. This just came to my mind, but I remember playing Max Payne, and that game being so fun and so you were just so involved in the game, and it took you hours and hours and hours to beat it, and they made a 2-hour movie that was shitty.
Yeah, it was like
you should
nothing
almost
happened.
you should almost make video games shows where you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
actually have the detail, because
Yep.
you spend hours and hours and hours playing them. You expect to have a full wrapped up story in 2 hours? Like
Yeah.
that's not.
Well, even if so, like you have this full blown like 7-hour video game, even at the quickest run through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let's turn that into a whole franchise. Take
Quickest
your
run
time.
through,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's no, and that's what you need. You need like character development.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
want a good show,
Yeah.
you need character development. You need there to be like investment in feelings and shit that's going to take place. And like that's what you do when you play video games. You're like invested in, especially if you're a quest. Like, did you go after achievements on the Xbox and shit? Like go after and do all the
only
extra
a few
shit.
different games. Yeah.
See.
Like I 100%ed Batman Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, Batman Arkham Knight and like Spider-Man PlayStation 4.
Ooh, that was a good one.
100%ed those games because I was just like, I can't stop playing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you adapt some of those games the right way, guess what? People will be like, I can't stop watching.
Right.
You know?
Perfect segue into what can be adapted into a movie and what can't.
Exactly.
TV shows being put into movies kind of bug me
Well,
a little bit.
I have full faith
I know.
because
I
Dan
know.
Harmon
Yes.
is making a community movie.
Yes, he is.
And this is something that they have rallied behind since like early seasons of the show.
Yes.
They've always been like 6 seasons in a movie,
Yep.
right? And so I'm actually stoked. I don't know. I don't know who's coming back for this though.
As far as I know, Childish said yes. I know Mikhail said yes.
Yeah.
Blondie said yes. I don't think they know about Chevy Chase. I don't know if he's back.
I don't
or
think
not.
I don't think he's coming back.
I don't think they
because
like him,
He
right?
already got kicked out of the
Yeah,
show.
okay,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but if
And they were like, "That's not going to happen at all.
right,
He will not be there."
if
not
Donald
mistaken.
Glover's coming back, and the rest of the cast aside from Chevy Chase, then I'm in. You know what I mean?
I think they said it's primarily most of the people.
Right.
Most,
so,
if not all, the people. And I don't think that they would try to do like a replacement either. They would probably just be like, "Hey, this person's not coming back," or for whatever.
well, I had to, Toby. He said he's never watched Community.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had to show him an episode earlier.
Do you like it?
It's
hard,
We'll
dude.
have to catch his opinion when he gets back. But
So 3 shows that are very similar in their take.
yeah.
Not necessarily in how they're done. Obviously, Parks and Recreation and The Office are very similar because they're kind of done in that mockumentary style. But The Office, Community, and Parks and Rec all have a very weird kind of comic
Yeah.
portrayal.
Yeah.
Dry humor almost, slapstick, but each of them have defining characters. There's defining Ron Swanson in Parks and Rec, a Donald Glover in Community,
Yeah.
any really character in The Office that made it big. They each have their own little like prime characters. They were all, for the
Yeah.
most part, short runs. Office went like 9 seasons, but Parks and Rec and Community were both 5 or 6 seasons long. And I think that those are like the ones where you either loved them or hated them. I don't know anybody who's like on the fence about either of them. I
Right.
liked all 3.
Well, I know a lot of people that like kind of skim over Community and they're just like, I don't know, it kind of sucks. And it's like, okay, if you know anything about Community though, you have to realize that Dan Harmon put the show together. It was a passion project for him. So you got Rick and Morty vibes. You got like quick, quirky comedy. You got like pop culture references.
He let a lot of the actors write their own jokes.
Yeah, he let them riff on their jokes.
Have a lot of creativity.
Yeah. And then you have to realize also that the Russo brothers directed Community.
Yeah.
So some of the episodes, like the paintball episode, were shot like action movies. And I'm pretty sure
All the 2-part ones? The 2-part episodes? Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that people at Marvel, early in Marvel, were just like, yo, you see those episodes of Community? Like, we need to get those dudes in here. Like,
And not to mention that, but the Community fan base, like, you want to give me a 2-hour Community paintball
Yeah.
movie?
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
But I'll also take any episode from like any other season, but I'll also take a
Right.
2-hour paintball action.
yeah.
Even
Because
if you
those
to
were
make it
always
a
like the
shtick-
finales.
Yeah, and what was great is like it's for those that haven't seen it, it's these war style like images, but they're inside a community college paintballing
Yeah.
each other. Like
Well,
it's
yeah,
not
like, so-
dramatic or
so,
explosives,
you know,
but it's
every-
shot so well.
Every episode of the season is just done like a sitcom, and then the finale would be like the dean would introduce like, hey, just to let y'all know, today's paintball day, and the winner of the paintball gets first pick at all your classes next year.
Yeah.
And everyone immediately freaks out and is like, oh my God. And so there's like an all-out war that happens with paintball.
The
and,
sleepover
yeah.
episode is also great. the tunnels and the tents where they have the sleepover.
Well, I also had to show Toby earlier the clip where Abed is doing like a class over Nick Cage, and he does the full blown Nick Cage freak out. He's like, "Oh, I'm a cat. I'm a sexy cat."
Did you watch Parks and Rec?
No, I wasn't.
You just avoided your sense of humor. I get it. No, I understand.
No, it was just one of those things that I didn't have anyone saying, "Hey, you need to watch this."
The Office.
I did watch The Office after my divorce because I had a lot of free time.
But
Oh my god!
okay, so depressing
What
shit
a
aside.
joke!
But so what did you think? I showed Toby the fried.
I love you, Toby. Oh shit!
I showed Toby the fried chicken episode.
Yeah, it was that.
And the
fried chicken was
clip
good.
of the Nick Cage.
Listen,
thing.
it's 100% something I would probably love if I would just give it the chance. It's just one of those things that never like crossed my path of like, hey, you should watch this, and that,
right?
It's got to be the follow-up to a traumatic life event, clearly, or he's not going to pay attention.
Someone marry me and divorce me, and then I'll watch it.
Oh no, please!
I'm
don't.
not watching that show until somebody divorces me. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked for this, and if Justin Roiland gets charged for all that stuff, hey, it'll give Dan Harmon a chance to get this movie out faster. So bad joke.
That's a solid joke. That's a solid joke if you're a non fucking Justin Roiland fan. You don't care about him.
It's a shame that Dan Harmon doesn't do any voices, though. You know,
Right.
It's not a shame. Maybe it's doing the voices to make you a fucking psychopath. Maybe it's
maybe so. Because
that's-
well, at the same time though, like you could like between Rick and Morty versus
oh, bro, you just want to all the time do fake voices? That's funny. Like,
well, between like the Rick and Morty kind of vibe versus Solar Opposites, you could tell that like Solar Opposites is Justin Roiland
Yes.
going for it.
Yes.
And then Rick and Morty, they're like,
More thought out.
yeah, they're thought out. You know what I
Way
mean?
more
so,
thought out.
yeah.
although, and I don't want to get into a Rick and Morty discussion at all. But season 5, I didn't realize season 6 is it fully available? Because I don't have Vudu.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
have
You have to buy it.
Yeah, you have to buy it on
to,
Vudu.
oh yeah, you got to buy it. So I just watched. Or I mean, no, not just watched it, but I watched season 5 maybe like before Christmas, before like Thanksgiving time. And I will say, like, and I don't know how for season 6, but the season 5 season finale is like a wraparound to the first season. And in it, they're like, yeah, you guys better go back and watch the first season to understand
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And like they break that wall, and I'm like, oh man, that's lazy writing though. Like now you're just like,
No, that's not
yeah,
lazy
it's
writing.
laziness.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's more of a
all they
callback
just
to
brought back
Stan
evil-
Lee.
Well,
that's
they do this thing though where they're like because they end up seeing depressed Jerry or whatever, right? No, that's in the premiere of the new season.
The newest season had a ton of callbacks to like the early
Yeah, because
seasons.
in the newest season he ends up breaking his gun.
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
gun at the in that
Yeah,
one.
that's-
right?
and he
that's
fills
the-
it with the fakes. He fills it with the fake shit, and he goes, "I know what a fake fucking zoomer is." And they go through that whole thing, and then at the end, he realizes that evil Morty took
Okay.
control of everything,
Well,
and they do the throwback to the first
yeah.
season. And like, you guys
So
gotta
in
go
the-
back and watch the first season.
So in the newest season, how it premiered was he's trying to fix his gun, but then whenever he fixes it, or when he's trying to fix it, everyone starts flashing. And he's like, uh-oh. And everybody's like, what? And he's like, I guess now that I've messed up this gun, everyone's going to be sent back
They're
to
being
their
reset.
original universes.
Oh, no,
So
'cause
then
that family's all mixed
so,
up.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
no.
then you get him being like going to see old Jerry that he took the family away from, and he's like, oh no, there's a depressed Jerry. You're gonna have to go back to an old season to see why he's so depressed or whatever.
Oh,
Like,
no.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great callbacks
Yeah.
in the latest.
Yeah, because the
season.
end of season 5, they find out that Rick killed his daughter,
Yeah.
daughter and wife or whatever. That's the end of season 5. Morty figures that
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
and he's like, "Oh shit," and gets all changed. All right.
All right.
Oh damn! So they go back to depressed fucking. God damn it.
All right, let's hit up some more chat. It's fun to see maybe Cop Poon is the best Poon again. But Evil Ghost Ninja, Dead Space would translate well into film. Hell yeah, it would, dude. Especially John Carpenter doing that slow burn and shit like in Halloween. Sam McCoy, that's the only reason I would watch the show. Blue Walls Smurf, yeah?
talking about the walls.
Oh, okay.
That's the only reason they watch.
Yeah.
That's what I said,
Yeah,
right? Blue
yeah,
walls.
yeah,
Blue
yeah.
walls is my contract.
Also, Sam McCoy, flashback episode are lazy writing. Okay, well, you know what? There's a way to use it cleverly, and I thought they did it well.
Hey, I want to see if you guys like the blue walls. We need comments in this video right now, like blue walls, yes, and that way Rickshaw has to paint the new house blue.
Bro, you realize he's gonna have us help him paint, right? Like,
Never mind, let's scratch all
yeah, bro. You just signing us up for work? You signing
Yeah,
us
go
up
ahead
for
and leave it in the comments.
wall painting
if
work,
you want
bro?
blue walls or
You
not.
just sign us up for wall painting?
If you guys want to see these guys working their asses
We'll live
off,
stream
That's a
that.
whole episode. You guys want that? That's a 2-hour episode. You're signing up for it.
It's
Just so you know.
3 different cameras of us all just painting
Me and
different
Toby-
walls.
fuck this.
Listen to me. If we don't make a live stream of us painting your new house, I'm gonna quit the show. I'm gonna quit the fucking show. That would be the best
you
live
know
stream.
that I'm not the boss of that.
That would be the best live stream. Oh, that's right. Jenna!
Because I know Becca wouldn't let you paint your house blue for any reason. Unless blue's her favorite color. Is blue her favorite color?
I don't know. Just kidding.
All right,
I'm pretty sure it's
moving-
green.
Moving on.